Let's start the plot with the characters as sleep cliche and into and it was all just a dream cliche. Well done. You've copied nearly every war movie in existence. Reading.
We're surrounded!
No, you're not. The enemy is in front of you and your allies are bringing up the rear. That is the opposite of being surrounded. The cutscene ended with a player character holding a rifle. The game then starts you with an automatic weapon. And speaking of automatic weapons, there are way too many of them for a game set during World War I. Most automatic weapons back then were large and were fired from a fixed position. Very few soldiers actually carried them around in combat. God damn, this is just awesome. From the whole taking control of another soldier when you die to the look and feel of World War I combat, I have to give credit where it's due, and this is some credit-worthy stuff. Didn't I die while controlling this guy a minute ago and take control of another soldier?
The war is the world, and the world is the war.
Deep breaths. When you hear a line that loaded, all you can do is fall back on meditation techniques to avoid getting angry. So here we have a game set during World War I about various people fighting on different fronts. How on earth did DICE ever come up with such a great idea? You just used the "it was all a dream about happier times" cliche with the last guy. You can't do it twice in a row. It's not that meaningful of a scene and it definitely loses something after being repeated.
Edward.
What was Edward zoning out for anyway? Sure, in the future after a bloody battle it makes sense for him to have a 1,000-yard stare, but this scene takes place well before all of that. But because DICE is about as subtle as a brick to the head with their imagery, Edwards was standing around completely zoned out just so they could transition cleanly between the two scenes.
Bloody... Whoa, no, don't swear. She does not like it when you swear.
Later, Edwards will start this tank by swearing at it.
I've done this before.
Done what before?
If he answered no to the question about ever driving a tank before, he probably wouldn't have been assigned to drive it in the first place.
Infantry will go on the first whistle, then we follow.
I'm no tank commander, but I'm pretty sure the role of a tank is to go in first to punch a hole in the enemy lines, and then the infantry follows up. Edwards survives this. Finch doesn't though, even though they were right next to each other when the mortar went off. Why did Edwards and Finch even get out of the tank to repair it? The problem is with the engine, which is inside the tank. The only thing Edwards does outside the tank is turn a wrench in its general direction until the tank is working again. Those are not the coordinates Townsend sent to HQ calling for an artillery strike on their own tank. The grid he marked was 317241. That artillery strike doesn't even scratch the paint on the tank. It does kill all the Germans and leave the tank sitting in a crater though.
Edwards, I'll drive. You jump out and scout ahead.
Why would you send the tank driver out to scout ahead? Shouldn't that be one of the other guys' job? My great-great-grandfather fought in World War I and died tragically when he stepped out of bounds for more than 10 seconds. So many good men died the same way back in those days.
Get in and drive, Edwards. Let's get out.
No, I'm good. I think I'll let you drive the burning tank.
What, Edwards, what?
So she needs new spark plugs.
Why can't my car mechanic diagnose what's wrong with an engine within seconds of looking at it like people in movies and games can?
That tank is going nowhere and he'll be dead by morning. We're fucked.
What's it here? You're just gonna abandon the mission, are you?
Don't you get it? Finch, Pritchard, all of us. We've been fucked all along.
Deserting during wartime is a pretty good way of fucking yourself as well. Ah, the horrors of World War I. When soldiers would have to collect 4 items before they could progress, you would think the tank would carry a few spare spark plugs. We got a good look at the road behind the German soldier before he pinned Edwards to the ground, and McManus was nowhere to be seen. So where did he come from to save Edwards?
I lost my way back there.
If you're going to have a character desert and then come back at a key moment, at least give him a reason as to why he changed his mind.
Fuck's sake, I thought you liked to bloody well fight!
Hey, Edwards! She likes it when you swear, boy!
He was told otherwise by Finch. A single tank piloted by only half a crew is apparently capable of winning a tank battle against an entire division. Artillery fire can now destroy the tank, even though earlier it couldn't. Edwards survives this. McManus survives this. Doesn't even have blood on his coat later. Townsend ignites a gas line inside the tank which sets it and all the German soldiers near it on fire. Except for Edwards and McManus, who are lying right next to it but somehow escape the flames. Blackburn must be related to Jack from Titanic, since both of them start their stories by winning something in a poker game. Same time period and character type too, so it's not that far of a stretch.
I have nothing left to bet, you idiot.
The plane.
It's government property, you can't gamble it away. And I'm not sure how Blackburn thinks he can collect on an experimental fighter plane. Also, what the hell is an American con artist doing playing poker on an airbase in France?
Bloody hell!
Just how do you tie someone's leg to a chair during a poker game without them knowing? You were on opposite sides of the table. Rackham's feet are the only thing tied to the chair, so it shouldn't be that hard to untie them and go after Blackburn. However, there's no sign of Rackham by the time Blackburn gets to the plane. And he even had time to steal a uniform and change into it.
I'm Wilson, by the way. You must be George Rackham.
Sure, I'm Rackham.
Oh, you know, I just lost my English accent while crossing the channel.
Let's get this kite up in the air.
Why are you even doing this? You can't very well fly off with a plane with your co-pilot in the back. But eventually Rackham is going to put the word out to the MPs. This was not a well thought out plan.
You're George Rackham, son of the 4th Earl of Windsor.
That's right. Hip, hip, hip.
That line should make it very obvious that Blackburn isn't who he says he is. In fact, I'm pretty sure the English have the right to punch you if you say it around them.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why does George Rackham, son of the 4th Earl of Windsor, sound like an American?
I pick up accents easily.
Wilson falls for this.
Whoa, look at that!
That fort was just over the mountain from where you were testing the plane. No one ever realized before this that that was a German garrison.
I'm not sure about this.
Oh, come on. We did a great thing. We'll get medals for this.
We weren't even supposed to be there.
When the commander sees these pictures, he won't care. We did a great thing. We can do it again.
Why do you want to launch an attack on the fort? You can't get medals. You're not a part of the Royal Air Corps. You should be using this opportunity to get away with or without the plane. After all you did was leave the real Rackham tied to a chair by his feet. By now, he would have to be free and very pissed off at you.
If we pile up on this, then you need to promise me that you'll get me back in one piece.
You just met him and he's already endangered your life once with his impromptu recon mission and dogfight. You should probably not be trusting your life to him. Seriously, where's the real Rackham at this point? He should have already put out the word that someone is impersonating him. Maybe don't fly right over the building you know your bombers are targeting then.
Hang on!
Crash off screen cliche. You were nowhere near high enough to bail out with a parachute. Wilson somehow survived this crash.
Hey! Hey!
I'm sorry.
Will you promise to get me back in one piece?
That's mostly your fault for making the guy you just met promise to risk his life for yours.
Put your cards on the table, Blackburn.
If you knew he wasn't Rackham, why did you risk your life flying with him and expect him to keep his word? You know he's lying about it and only wanted the plane.
You're not George Rackham, are you? Son of the 4th bloody Earl of Windsor. How naive do you think I am?
Not naive, just really stupid for not reporting him as soon as he showed up on the airfield.
He's a cheat, a thief, and a liar, and he'll answer for his crimes.
It took you way too long to get around to arresting him.
I'm gonna speak up for you, you know, at the court-martial.
He's not part of the Royal Air Corps. Can he even be court-martialed? In fact, I'm pretty sure they would actually consider him to be a spy or saboteur and just execute him.
Wilson, with me, I need a gunner.
Over here. I'll do it. Rackham, let me help.
You don't deserve to fly.
What an asshole, that Rackham guy, not allowing the cheating con artist who's in chains to fly a plane he tried to steal and nearly got his co-pilot killed. He totally deserved his gruesome death. While the Germans did conduct air raids on London using Zeppelins, by 1917, the year this is taking place in, they had already stopped using them due to the obvious reason that flying a giant balloon full of exploding gas and bombs over city anti-air defenses wasn't that great of an idea.
Come on, Fritz! Come on!
I've gotta ask, was that the plan? To have the flag gunner on the Zeppelin shoot you down so you could crash land on it? You can crash land without the whole being shot down thing, you know. They survived this. Why did you need to get on board the Zeppelin to take out a single flag gun? You had rockets in your plane that would do just that. Not to mention that you could just shoot the Zeppelin down and accomplish the same goal. I know I say this a lot, but they survived this. There was a symbolic poker card on the bank of the river when Blackburn climbed out of the water. When he rolls over, it's nowhere to be seen.
You'll probably hear other versions. A rogue pilot who stole a plane, who killed his buddy, then lied, cheated, and murdered his way across half the Western Front, only to escape court-martial in the chaos of an air raid.
If you think I'm removing some of the sins from Blackburn's campaign just because he's shown to be an unreliable narrator, well, you don't know me that well.
What you heard from me is the truth. I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't. Would I?
You can't just go breaking the fourth wall during a period piece.
Are you alright? We're ready for you to cut the cake.
This Italian soldier's daughter sounds really American.
Wow, these are incredible.
I'm your fully grown daughter, yet I've never seen your war photos before.
I'm sorry, Dad. Take as long as you need.
No, it's okay, Tesoro. It's time I told you what happened to him.
Don't worry, I don't bother developing his character. No way you'll get sentimental about his death that way. The Arditi soldiers of Italy were known for fighting using mostly knives and hand grenades. They didn't wear Fallout-style armor that made them nigh invincible and carry heavy machine guns up mountains. If this armor is so effective, why isn't the entire unit wearing it? You single-handedly take the entire mountain while wearing this stuff.
Were you still safe behind your armor?
Of course. Nothing could dent it.
Pretty sure high-caliber rounds would go right through it, like those shot from an airplane, since they're designed to penetrate armor. Unless that's power armor he's wearing, a plane crashing into him would kill him several times over. Why are you removing your armor? You're alive because of that, and it's no worse for wear than when you put it on. I'm sure this gun is real. DICE does their homework on that kind of thing, but just damn is that stupid looking. It's like someone used a kid's drawing of a machine gun as a blueprint. No, not him. What was his name again? Mario? Marco? Marcus? Day 1 of the Battle of Cape Helles is told only in text, despite it sounding way more badass to play through than Day 2. And judging by some of the scenes from trailers, I'm pretty sure it was cut.
Been lied about his age to get past conscription.
Even if Foster lied about his age to sign up, they could have at least made him look less like a Boy Scout.
Send these coordinates.
I just telepathically sent them to you, because I sure as hell didn't say them out loud.
Level you go.
Yeah, okay, you're staying here.
Did they not train him at all before putting him on this boat?
Look at that, huh? Kid, you lied your way into hell on earth!
Foster would have passed those very same dead bodies on his way up the beach, so he should have already gotten sick of the sight of it and realized war isn't the romantic adventure he naively thought it was.
I'm gonna die.
No, you're not.
Is this not the reaction you wanted from him? Bishop wants to scare him away from fighting because he's too young. Yet the moment he makes him realize his mistake, he takes him under his wing, thereby ensuring Foster gets put in more danger.
You're Australian. We're impossible to kill.
Except for all those dead Australians on the beach I just pointed out. They don't count.
Unless... Not Kiwi, are you?
That's racist.
Follow me. I'm in here. Yes, I'm out.
They should have trained him to shoot long before they stuck him on a boat that was invading the Ottoman Empire.
What can I do you for?
Not you, the boy. We need a runner for the front lines.
Why would you want the kid you know to be inexperienced to run an important mission over Bishop, the war hero? The kid barely knows how to shoot. Rear command is a minute's run down a road controlled by British forces. However, the rear commander only left a note pinned to a wall telling the forward lines that their position was lost, and an artillery strike on the fort and village was incoming. They never took the minute it would take to send this message to the front and warn the soldiers from attacking the fort.
I sent men up to secure the fort. A dead man. Who went?
Only those who volunteered, so naturally all of them.
You are terrible at commanding. You know Foster is underage and has no experience, yet you still let him attack the fort.
I gotta get that kid.
But not the other soldiers, just Foster. I didn't have a bonding moment with the other soldiers, so screw them. Apparently a group of wounded soldiers can sit and wait in the doorway of an enemy fort and not come under attack. Seems odd, since they would have been wounded attacking the fort. And if this is where they fell back to, then the Ottomans should be pressing their advantage, which they aren't. They don't even seem to know that Foster and the other soldiers were right there a few feet away from them.
We can't leave. There are still hostiles coming, and we can't outrun them with our wounded.
Make it look like I'm capturing the fort. It'll be enough distraction.
Once again, one man is all it ever takes to distract an entire enemy force. There is no reason for Bishop to sacrifice himself as a distraction. All of the Ottomans inside the fort are preoccupied with defending it. No one was coming after Foster and the others. And Bishop knows that this fort is about to be shelled, so it doesn't even matter if the soldiers in it are planning to attack. They'll be killed or at the very least kept busy by the artillery strike. This is heroic sacrifice solely for the purpose of having an heroic sacrifice. Nothing is written, except for this text.
Well, you did not think we would be fast enough to catch you here, did you? Lawrence of Arabia.
When I started this mission, T. Lawrence couldn't shut up about how the one advantage a single soldier has is they can move unseen, and I played the mission as such. Now I find out that there was an entire group of Bedouin soldiers hiding that whole time waiting to take out the Ottomans? Fuck you, game.
Even now, an engine of destruction scours this desert, obliterating your allies, your families, your homes.
Well, only the homes next to train tracks. This is actually a pretty easy threat to avoid.
Soon there will be nowhere to run!
It's an armored train. Just don't walk along the tracks and it can't find you. Death memento cliche. I have to remember that if I ever have kids, I need to own a lot of sentimental objects for them to swear vengeance by if I am ever killed.
You're going to tell me how to lie to your train so we can lure it into a trap and destroy it.
It's a train. Destroy the tracks in front of it or a bridge underneath it and problem solved.
Impossible. To even begin to talk to that train, you would need an entire book of communication codes.
Why did you tell them that? You caught her inside the derailed train car that carried the codebook.
One day, the whole world will take your lands and the precious black gold beneath its sands.
Games set in the past can help it comment on future events. It's not prescient if you're in a position to know what's going to happen.
We had to send in 3 encrypted messages telling it to stand down. The commanders there carried high-priority message capsules. We had to use those to send our orders.
Isn't that incredibly redundant to require 3 separate messages to stop the train? All of these messages are encoded and can only be sent by trained pigeons using special message capsules.
How Zara tackled this dangerous and audacious mission was up to her.
I expect you'll become quite familiar with those binoculars as you plan your next move. Sorry, but I had to quote Ocelot there. Because with the horseback riding across the desert, the tactical stealth, and riding a cute little tank across the desert, I'm getting some serious Metal Gear Solid 5 flashbacks. How the hell did you escape and find your way to the same place as Zara? There were 3 different bases she could have been at. Is this really necessary? You captured her inside one of your military outposts. You could have taken a horse at the very least.
Although you see, the message had already been sent, my dear. I made sure to note the location of Lawrence's camp, of course. Which means the train knows too.
Not only did you escape without anyone knowing, you somehow managed to beat Zara on horseback to the messenger pigeons and send the location of the Bedouins' base to the train. Also, why the hell would Bedouins make their base of operations near train tracks when the only thing threatening them is a giant armored train? Villains can't just be assholes anymore. They have to be rapey. This could have been avoided if you had simply tied her hands. Are villains just not taught basic villain skills these days?
Train's coming a long way, so it'll have to stop to take on water. That's where we strike.
Then rig explosives on the track.
Why didn't you try this plan before the whole pigeon thing? Imagine that. Destroying the tracks under the train worked pretty well. Now it's time for a poorly thought out and implemented final boss fight against a train.
Tell me, what do you know about battleships?
Probably not very much, since she's a Bedouin who lives in the desert.
We will stand. We will look death in the eye. And we will fight.
Sequel baiting. You know what I mean.